Uh, Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I'll talk about the bill in a moment. I wrote a letter yesterday to Senator Schumer and McConnell asking that the Senate be given a briefing about the terrorism threat that we're facing, people coming across the border. There was a pretty high-profile sting operation involving 8 people from Tajikistan that were able to get into our country, released into the country. Clearly, the vetting was insufficient at the time. From my understanding of what's going on, this is a very dangerous situation for our country. We need to be told about the extent of the danger and what kind of corrective action we can take. So I would urge the majority leader and the minority leader not to let a lot of time pass before you share with this committee, this Senate, all of us, the threats we face as a nation. I fear that the sting operation involving 8 people from Tajikistan is just the tip of the iceberg. As to the Inspector General report from DHS about vetting, all I can say is that catch, release, and poorly vet is not the way to go. We're learning more and more that the vetting system comes after people have been released, not before, and it's insufficient. So the number of people released into our country is astounding. It seems to be the system is failing in terms of vetting. So I am hopeful that the administration will take this report from the DHS Inspector General and take it to heart and make reforms. Don't let people into the country until they've been fully vetted. Stop abusing parole. At the end of the day, the parole system in this country has been abused. The bipartisan bill that we all talk about, in my view, did very little, if anything, to change that. And the Lake and Raleigh tragedy is a good example of where the person accused of murdering this young lady was paroled into the country not based on the 2 statutory factors in law, but based on lack of detention capacity. So this is a nightmare for our country. The process is continuing. The DHS inspector report is a wake-up call. The sting operation by ICE and other law enforcement investigation is beyond a wake-up call. So I'm hoping that the Senate will be briefed about the extent of the danger and that we will be able to make some corrective action before it's too late. Yesterday, Mr. Chairman, you asked unanimous consent for a bill coming from the House involving deep fakes, manipulating, particularly against young women, prominent people, just people in general, how you can have their lives turned upside down by technology that is incredibly harmful, stripping people not only of their clothes, but their dignity. We had an objection on the floor. I've made unanimous consent requests for CSAM and the Earn It Act. We've had objections on the floor. The senator who objected, I respect her very, very much. She thinks the legislation coming from the House is too broad. Let's sit down and talk and see if we can have a meeting of the minds. Don't come to the floor and object unless you're really willing to work with us. Because I am fully with you here, Mr. Chairman. I support what you tried to do yesterday. I think your response to the objection was absolutely accurate. And I hope in a bipartisan fashion, the members of this committee that have led the way on social media reform, that every week between now and the election and beyond, we will go to the floor, ask unanimous consent to bring up bills that this committee passed unanimously that would dramatically improve the lives of the American people before this is too late. So I want to continue to work with you on this journey.